Welcome to the second coming of unbelief. Today we're going to talk about the absolute worst, number one worst story in the Bible. Revelation is bloody, nonsensical hallucinations, but as for stories, this one is the worst. Absolutely no moral value of any kind in the story, and it really does not belong in the Bible. A holy book. Sorry. Okay. So, sex slave, concubine, of an unnamed Levite runs off. Now, I'm going to assume that she ran off for cause. The Levite tracks her down to her father's house. Father loves his daughter and stalls for time, not wanting his daughter to go back with the abusive Levite. Finally, after a week, the Levite can't take the stalling any longer and sets off in the afternoon. It gets dark, so they turn into the nearest city. Now, there weren't any motels, but they're, kind of dependent upon people to let you sleep on their living room floor. And the story just gets weird from here. The men of the town all get together, surround the house of the kind host, and demand that the Levite be handed over for some sadistic action. So the Levite chunks his concubine out the door and says, "Merry Christmas, guys! Sweet dreams!" The men of town each have a go with the girl. She's exhausted, likely bleeding from the abuse received from the crowd. In the morning, the Levite slash abusive husband, butthead, walks to the door, sees the girl passed out, and didn't check for a pulse. He just said, "Get up, it's time to go." She didn't respond, so he threw her over his donkey like a bag of barley and made his way home. And the story is already weird. Doesn't need to get weirder, but it does. Okay? The man butchers the girl into 12 pieces and sends a piece each with runners to each of the 12 tribes' territories. He says, "Y'all come help me get revenge for the abuse my sex slave had in a town in the territory of Benjamin." Okay, so just for a quick recap, an abusive master tracks down a runaway slave, doesn't make it all the way home, stops for the night, and rather than something else, would ask to take a submissive role in the sex game, he says, "Hey, here's my slave. Better her body than my butthole." Dude, that's super callous. That is just super, super callous. And maybe there'd be parallels in the American South, I don't know. In the morning, he doesn't even check for a pulse. He doesn't call a doctor, throws her around like a sack of something. And then again, without checking for a pulse, butchers her into 12 pieces and calls for revenge. None of this makes any sense. Why is this story almost a praiseworthy story about an abusive master? What is holy enough the better you than me attitude that's included in the story? As I deconstruct, I've learned that many, if not all, of the stories of the Old Testament were cobbled together from already existing stories. And I'm sure this tale of horror is one of the leftover tales that people told around the campfire. It's a scary story. I really fail to see any moral lesson at all. Help me out in the comments below if you can make sense of it, because I sure can't. Thanks for watching Second Coming of Unbelief. I'll catch you on the next video.